It's been a crazy week for President Trump with all the scandals that have come out, and today he left for his big trip to Saudi Arabia. You know things are bad here when you go to the Middle East to get away from it all. You know, that's... Really?
And I hear there's a chance that when he returns, he'll still be president. With Trump gone, you know what that means? We have the coal country to ourselves for the weekend.
The flight to Saudi Arabia is actually 14 hours. Yeah, but Trump was ready for the long flight. Before settling into his seat, he formed his hair into a neck pillow.
He's going to Saudi Arabia first, where he wants to unite the Muslim world with a speech on radical Islam. The idea is to unite our Islamic friends against our Islamic enemies. I love Muslims, okay? That's why I call you radical.
On Sunday, Trump will have lunch with the leaders of over 50 Muslim countries. In the first hour will be just Trump trying to pronounce their names. King Salami al Scooby-Doo.
But the Israeli visit might get a little tense at times, too, since it came out this week that Israel is the source of the secret intelligence Trump gave to the Russians. But I'm sure it'll be fine. It's not like people over there hold grudges for thousands of years.
Let's play some video, if we could, please, of a pretty stunning moment. Jim was talking about the publicity of this and how much we're seeing, but do you see that that chain around, the gold necklace around the President Trump's neck there? Well, Saudi King Salman presented that to the president. It's a gold medal. The collar of Abdulaziz Al Saud is what it's called, and it's the nation's highest honor. I want to ask you, Anuche, what do you make of, what is the symbolism there? What is the intention as he gives him that honor? Because already what we are seeing, the grandeur of this welcome, is so different from what we've seen with past presidents.
Well, I think that Donald Trump has always kind of taken a softer stance when it's come to Saudi Arabia. You know, they were left off of his famous Muslim ban list and also his executive order barring Muslim immigrants from the U.S. And, you know, despite Saudi Arabia being one of the greatest exporters of radical Islam, Donald Trump has always taken a softer stance on them. And let's not forget, there's a $109 billion arms deal also on the table that he has to seal with the Saudis. And, you know, it's really interesting because in many ways there couldn't be a better time for Donald Trump to kind of be out of Washington and escape the siege-like atmosphere he's facing here back at home and be in Saudi Arabia. But at the same time, this really ambitious trip is full of diplomatic landmines. And I really think his first diplomatic blunder has the potential to start off in Saudi, in Riyadh.
Mr. President, either you're not getting good counsel or you're not following the good counsel that you're being provided. In case it's the former, let me give you some legal advice. Robert Mueller's appointment is the official statement of official Washington that if you've broken the law, you're out. One way or another, impeachment, indictment, or cabinet removal under the 25th Amendment. I don't know if you've broken the law, whether you've impeded official investigations, but this isn't a witch hunt. There is enough evidence relating to Michael Flynn and the Russians to cause the extraordinary act of the appointment of an independent counsel. You fired the person who was investigating Flynn and maybe investigating you after you allegedly first asked that investigator over a one-on-one dinner at the White House for a loyalty pledge. And then, allegedly, 2 weeks later, in the Oval Office, after asking Vice President Pence and Attorney General Sessions to leave the room, you told Director Comey to stop investigating your former national security advisor by saying, quote, "I hope you can let this go." At that moment, because of your termination letter of Comey, we know you had Russia on your mind. And now comes news that you told the Russians that the firing of Comey would relieve great pressure. Understand this, you can't make what has happened go away, not by tweeting, not by rallying the base, not by having your allies in Congress or the conservative media complain. We're beyond that now. You need to hire a criminal defense attorney and follow that lawyer's advice, which will no doubt include restraint. And the road ahead is pretty clear. It's nearly certain that the truth will come out. If you committed crimes, you'll be removed. I'm not prejudging you. I think it premature and inappropriate for those who talk impeachment. You also need to hire a political advisor who will stand up to you and tell you when you're wrong, and you need to follow that advice. You need to relentlessly get to work and stay at work on the problems you were elected to fix. But even if you get past your legal issues, the only way to save this presidency is to stop talking about this issue, stop being controlled by impulse, and instead be governed by discretion and the law. Assuming that nothing that has already occurred will cause you to be removed, this presidency can be rescued. President Reagan faced many dark days in his second term in relation to Iran-Contra, but he got through it by focusing on his work, by not complaining, and by maintaining discipline. Pretty much the same thing happened with President Clinton, though that scandal was different. You can pull out of this downward spiral, but only if you have it in you to stay focused, stay on message, follow the rules, follow the law, and follow good advice.